and he is the Sheriff of Lake County, John Buncich. Sheriff, how are you?
Good morning, Jed. How are you? I see Buster's here again today, my buddy.
He is here every day. I used to ride my bike to work, and I can't do it anymore because he's standing at the
ride
door.
On a bike.
Yeah,
right?
he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I think he's saying it to me. He's like, "What do you think you're doing?" Got my helmet on and everything. He's like, "Get out of there. We're going in the car. I'm not sitting here all day long."
That's our buddy.
Sheriff, well, just so everybody knows, and if there's one person who doesn't know, we've got to go back through it. Sheriff John Buncich has been back in the job since the beginning of this year. Mm-hmm. He was the sheriff for 8 years, took an 8-year break, and now he's back again. And we'll go through some of the things that he's doing because he's giving us good headlines and good radio on a regular basis.
Smiley?
No, that's this is that bath salts. I talked about this before.
Mr. Smiley's actually the.
No, that's just one of the names. But,
yeah. So here it is, some bath salts.
Bath salts, street weed, that marijuana they're selling. But here's the frightening part: is they're selling this stuff, in stores throughout Lake County, and I talked about this before, how it's causing a lot of health problems, and especially for those young men and women that are using it. They market it as bath salts, but what they're doing is they snort it. And like I said on Dateline about 2 months ago, they had a feature story on it on NBC, and about the dangers of it, how many individuals are dying. It causes serious hallucinogenic effects. It leads to suicidal tendencies. And I've been talking about this throughout the community, but my mental health director came down to my office about 3 weeks ago or so, and so we've got a problem here that there's with these bath salts that we've had 6 inmates come in over the past few weeks under the influence of these that are coming down off of this, and very violent, and had to put them in the mental health ward of the facility, and it's just I've got a 5-minute tape of one of the individuals from our surveillance tape up on the 4th floor in the medical ward of one of these individuals, and it's just it took him 5 days to come down off of this stuff. He's so violent, and it's a very graphic tape, and I'm going to be using it during my presentations. And so what I did, I told some of my undercover officers, I sent them out just one day. I says, go out and try to buy some of this stuff and see what you can come up with. And, I just got it spread out here on the table. And they went and easily bought the stuff, just asked for it. It's underneath the counter at convenience stores. And all the different names of these salts, you name it, they got it, plus the street weed and everything.
Let's get to the street weed in a second. This bath salt, this one's called Tranquility. It's a concentrated bath salt, and it's a sensual experience, they say. SCENTUAL experience, okay? Mm-hmm. And this is what I thought, Sheriff was wearing. And I was gonna pull him aside and say, Sheriff, you're the sheriff, dude. You can't be wearing the same stuff my wife wears, okay? So, but it's called Tranquility, and let me read you a little bit of a.
Well, this one's called Stairway to Heaven.
And what it is it's a little, and I wish you guys
little vial.
Yeah, a little vial. I wish you guys could watch this, and if you want to look on the computer right now, I'll hold them up. And there it is. And can I open this, or is this evidence?
No, don't open.
Don't open. This one's all right. I can't open this one, but he's got one out. But I can look in. This one's called Stairway to Heaven.
This is called Energy Booster.
Energy Booster. Now, that's different. That's a...
And it says dietary supplement.
Yeah, that's one of those, fake weed things, right?
No, that's the salt.
Oh, that's the salt. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Energy Booster for an invigorating, energizing experience. Okay?
And here's one called Yayo.
Yayo.
Right.
Yayo.
Energy supplement powder.
Okay.
And let me tell you, my doctor was telling me about what this has in it. It has a chemical in it that's the word's about a mile long, but it's abbreviated MPDV. It's a chemical not approved for medical use in the United States. It's highly causes increased blood pressure, heart rate, chest pains, agitation, hallucinations, severe paranoia, and suicidal thoughts. And wants to They once they start using this, they believe others can cause harm to themselves or others. It creates an intense craving, not just equal to or more than methamphetamine or LSD. And they're selling this stuff over the counter. Let me just tell you where we bought this stuff. We bought it, of course, in Gary. We bought it. We bought it in Lake Station, Munster. We bought it in
You bought it in Munster.
Ground Point, Lowell. So this is everywhere in Lake County. And these kids, these young men and women, are buying this stuff. And then here's recent clippings. This individual, 3 police officers in Maryville had to subdue this individual. All right, and he was so strong under the influence of this, overpowered the 3 police officers, took a taser gun away from one of the police officers and used it on the police officer. That's how violent this is. The individuals that they're bringing into jail under the influence of this, we're having to give them shots to bring them down. This one individual, the doctor said they gave him 3 shots, and if they would have gave it to a man my size, it would have knocked me out for 3 days.
219-845-1100. Hey, you're on with Sheriff John Buncich.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I just have a question. What's the difference between this product and the normal bath salts that you buy at like Bed Bath & Beyond, or the stuff in a package for your wife for Valentine's Day or something? And I'll hang up and listen.
This is just a gimmick. That's all it is. The name's a gimmick. It's just hiding the fact of what it actually is. I'm trying to get my hands on this other stuff that they're selling too. It's synthetic Xanax. They're selling it under the counter also. So I mean, they're just bath salts is just a name they're using. Like I said, some of these other names, what do we
Tranquility and
Yayo and all
and
this
Stairway
other
to
stuff.
Heaven.
Yeah, we don't even know where this stuff is being made. That Dateline story a couple of months ago, I have the tape on, showed an individual from Minnesota was marketing this stuff, packaging it and marketing it. And undercover camera, he was bragging about how he's making about $250,000 a month off the sale of it. And that's real nice, killing kids and making money off it like that.
It looks like a vial. I mean, if you're going to go buy bath salts for your wife, it's going to be in a bigger bottle, and it's going to look like something that she would want. Mm-hmm. This looks like drugs.
Right. It does. And what's even worse is the price. They're paying anywhere from $25 to $50.
Now talk about your leadership. Stuff. Now you brought on the guy from Gary, the jail administrator.
Jeff Kumarek is my warden.
Jeff.
Yes, and I have Tim Downs as my chief of police. Veteran police officer, and Dan Murchek's my deputy chief of police, another veteran officer, and Willie Stewart, my deputy chief in charge of civilian personnel. Again, between the 4 of us, I think we were figuring it out the other day, we have about 105 years of law enforcement experience between the 4 of us that are in that front office. And Jeff Kumarek, of course, veteran officer, over 25, 30 years of service with Chicago PD, Gary PD. And we also have deputy warden staff. We picked the cream of the crop from the deputy warden, out of the wardens, the corrections staff, and made them deputy wardens. They each have a category. We have compliance officers. The 2 officers, I brought in 2 retired county police officers that worked with me and for me for many, many years, and they know the operations of the jail, Jim Apollo and Ed Foster, and we're getting the job done. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of times, that yours truly is doing a little screaming and yelling, but hey, we all get it together, and it's happening. It's going to fall into place.
Sheriff, obviously, from what you're presenting, it's somewhat of a fix-up situation. We're fixing up the jail. You also have there's been investigations of some stuff that happened before you came on, and the previous administration. You've presented it as it is what it is. You've never mentioned with me the previous administration's name here, but I got to ask you this. You've come in and you've taken a full accounting of where you're at in the sheriff's department. Mm-hmm. You've made some pretty big changes, and you've made some pretty big, I guess, just kind of just massive turnaround situation. And the discussion came up yesterday. Is that the kind of things that all office holders should do when they come in? In other words, part of the issue here is that you've never really gotten along with the guy that was there before, and now you've come in, and some people would look at it and say, well, he's just kind of doing it because he didn't like the guy before. And to some extent, we've asked that question here on the air. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, maybe that doesn't matter, whether you like the person before you or not. Maybe when you come into office here in Lake County, that's the first thing you should do, is take a full accounting of everything and make it entirely transparent. And if there were things that you didn't like, you make them public. Do you think you can set a trend with this?
I certainly hope so. And let's look at it from this perspective, Jed. The Sheriff's Department is a law enforcement agency. It's a lot different than like a treasurer's office, an auditor's office, a surveyor's office. We have a commissary fund that's over $1.5 million worth of business each year, does that much business. We have equipment that other offices don't have. I'm talking about firearms. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of firearms, computer equipment, other law enforcement related equipment, radio equipment, and stuff like that. I want to know what I had. All right? There's a lot of money involved there, plus I have a $30 million annual budget. And I want to know where all this money is involved, where it is, do we still have this property and everything else. And I unless I'm comfortable with that, and we're just on the verge of completing our complete audit of everything, and we'll be coming out with some things very shortly. And I would urge every office holder to do that.
I guess that's where I'm going.
Responsibility. Accountability. Isn't that what it's all about? When you run for office, you just don't say, hey, elect me because I am the most qualified, right? But it's administratively, you've got to take the bull by the horns. And, like Truman said, hey, the buck stops here. And that's what it is. If something isn't right, they're going to say to me, hey, why didn't you come to us earlier? Why didn't you say something was wrong or anything else? I want to be transparent. I go work with the commissioners. I work with the council, and this garbage about politics, don't give me this stuff. It's politics. It's administration. That's what it is. Everybody looking for what the way it should be, accountability. So these guys want to fall behind this politics garbage. Let them talk about politics all they want. But we're not playing politics. I'm trying to save the taxpayers' dollars, which we've already done. And we're going to document all that, going through, looking at where stuff is, where stuff isn't, waste here, waste there. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars we already saved the taxpayers.
You mentioned other office holders. In other words, your message to them is, when you come into a new office, is what?
Take a look at everything. You're the new administrator. Take a look at what you got. And like I said, mine is just it's a big headache because we have so many different divisions, departments, jail, and everything else. But everybody take a look at something like this. That's why we as elected officials, we meet once a month and we're breakfast and we talk about this. We're getting a bad rap. We always get a bad rap from the newspapers that, we're wasting this, or we're not doing this, and everything else. Hey, you know what? We're doing our job. We're out there. We're trying to accomplish what we're trying to do. But somebody has to be watching what's going. Somebody has to be watching the store. And I'm doing my job, and these other officials are doing their job. But then everybody else, the commissioners, the council, and everybody else combined looking at what's going on. Everybody, that's the way it should be, that transparency there. Because what's funding that thing over there in Crown Point, that big, huge building over there, all right, on hundreds of acres? Who funds it? We do, the taxpayers. You fund it. And we have that responsibility when you run for office.
Take one last phone call, 219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Jed.
Good morning.
And Sheriff.
Yes.
I was listening here, and I was wondering if you could recap the accomplishments you've been able to achieve. And a lot of problems are not achievable within 1 month, 2 months, or it may take 3 years. Can you give a general outline of what you accomplished and what stands before you as best you can see at this moment?
Well, the first thing is proper utilization of everything we have. And as far as with the officers too, we redid the districts. We have more cops on the street. I took every cop that was available behind the desk, put them on the street. The gang and drug units and that sort of thing. That more of enforcement in those areas where the serious crimes are occurring, and then undertook serious accounting procedures. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago at a show here about the prescription drugs in the jail. That they were overcharging us ridiculously. I'm sitting down with my accounting department. Why are we paying this much? Recently, we just got $80,000 refund from this prescription drug outfit under contract with the county that they were overcharging us. Food costs, looking at that, thousands of dollars when we started looking what was ordered in the last half of 10 and everything, overcharging us for foods and stuff like that. These are the areas that we've also put work with the council and commissioners to put new ordinances into effect where we're increasing revenue for different types of fines on the marina, and the Lake Michigan with a marine unit, traffic enforcement, more heavily enforced there. Stiffer penalties and fees for those that are committing crimes being brought into the jail. These are the different things, just that little bit of revenue that we can generate there. And then, the place was just a pig pen over there, filthy hole over there, and how much we've had to spend on, come on, over the last 8 years you couldn't go out and buy some disinfectant or some Pine Sol or something? Give me a break, or change a filter in a furnace, or put some diesel fuel in the generator. Come on, these things are what you do every day. You're supposed to do routine maintenance. These things weren't occurring, and then when you don't repair these things, just the plumbing alone. I had a meeting with I'm a cop. I'm a career cop. I'm sitting there the other day, sitting with my warden and my chief, both career cops. We're sitting there for 3 hours talking about plumbing with a plumber. $450,000 to $500,000 in plumbing repairs because general maintenance hadn't been occurring for several years. This is allowed to occur. If you see a pipe leaking in your house, what do? You call a plumber, or you go to Ace Hardware or something and get a part and fix it, right? These guys didn't do anything. Come on, give me a break. Now everything's breaking all over the place. And so who's paying for it, though? You guys, the taxpayers, are the one footing the bill. Those are the ones that are writing the check. Come on, we got to save the money,